Chapter 621. You have bought quite a lot. Where did the courier bird come from? It came from Nathan. He said he arrived at the destination first and has been doing well for 5 days. According to Kishir, Nathan Zuckerman, who had reached the destination alone, was secretly investigating whether there was any information related to Diarca or the Crown Prince. Incredibly, within less than 5 days, he seemed to have uncovered something significant related to their goal. Though he hasn't written much, as he's still investigating, the fact that Nathan is certain of it suggests it's not just trivial information. Either had worried that the unexpected onset of his heat period, which had cost him 5 days, might hinder their overall schedule. However, it was a relief that it hadn't. Either's previously grave expression softened slightly. Kishir offered him a fruit with a smile. I went to the river and found quite a lot of Quaran ripening nearby. I have only bought the ones that looked good. Would you like to try one? Quaran, a winter fruit resembling raspberries, was a favored winter sustenance for wild animals. Either poured the clustered, bright red berries into his mouth. Each tiny berry burst with a clean tart flavor as he chewed. Although different from cultivated fruits, Either was accustomed to this taste, having often picked such winter fruits, including Quaran, during his childhood in the mountains. It seems to be good, he noted. Please, Commander, have some too, Yudhir offered. Regaining his composure, Yudhir noticed that the Quaran Kishir had been holding were all gone. I'm fine, I have caught some fish, so I should get ready to cook them. Considering Kishir's high status, it seemed inappropriate to ask him to do more than just bring the fish, which was surprisingly large and numerous for being caught alone in the river during winter. Even if he had used his powers, the catch was impressively large. Yudhir looked at the pile of fish and shook his head. I will take care of that. Just rest. I'm still affected by the heat, but I'm not a patient. I grew up in the wild. I can prepare them more quickly. Kishir burst into laughter at his words and then nodded in agreement. All right, do as you wish. But I won't stop myself from watching and helping, all right? Of course, Yudhir didn't object to that. But there was hardly any need for assistance. Yudhir changed into fresh clothes and took out a small dagger intended for such miscellaneous tasks. He skillfully cleaned and cut several fish, summoned water for washing, and then sliced them neatly. He skewered them and cooked them over the fire, controlling the flames with his fingertips to grill the fish to perfection without burning them. The fish, now deliciously cooked and aromatic, was sprinkled with the juice of the remaining Quarans. The strong tartness of the berries, though different from raspberries, was effective in masking any fishy taste. As he finished and looked at the pile of grilled fish, Kishir asked, Is it done? Yes, you can eat now. There was no chance to help. Well, hadn't he said so? The grilled fish Yudhir had prepared was made entirely in his own way. It was neither aesthetically beautiful nor exceptionally tasty. Nevertheless, Kishir ate every piece of fish Yudhir offered him without any refusal. Sitting on the ground eating grilled fish without chairs or a table might have seemed a humble sight, but watching Kishir, one wouldn't think so. In fact, even Yudhir, who was used to such modest cabins and simple meals, felt like he was sharing a very special experience. It seemed Yudhir wasn't the only one who felt that way. Well, aren't you both enjoying the cozy cabin life in the forest? I'm pretty sure this is going to be one of those very rare occurrences where Kishir had to do some housework. Because if they are with people, I'm pretty sure they will not even let him lift a finger in the housework. So this is nice. The rare occasions we get to see them being homey and domestic. Aww. Somehow I feel like even if this were all a dream, I would believe it, Kishir mused. Yudhir remained silent. When I caught your scent carried by the wind 5 days ago, my head felt dizzy. But now, here I am, comfortably sitting and being treated to a meal you prepared yourself. If I had to choose which feels more like a dream, it would definitely be this moment. It was the first time Kishir had spoken of the moment 5 days ago when Yudhir's heat had just started. Yudhir belatedly recalled the Alpha Awakener mercenary he had dealt with. That guy, I had forgotten about him. Though Yudhir had managed to handle the situation somehow, the scene Kishir must have witnessed was likely not a pleasant one. Yudhir, about to apologize reflexively, swallowed his words upon seeing Kishir's red eyes. Instead, he offered his portion of fish to him. Please eat this. Ah. The man, with his eyes downcast and lips slightly parted, confidently took the fish, as if he had been waiting to do so from the beginning with a sly attitude. But Yudhir, instead of feeling ridiculous at this sight, found his gaze continually drawn to Kishir's red lips and the movement of his throat. Perhaps it was because they had already crossed a line from which there was no returning. Thinking such things even while eating. It was remarkable how strong a desire still lingered in him, despite the heat not having completely subdued. It didn't take long for the numerous fish to disappear into their stomachs. During this time, Kishir gently asked Yudhir a few questions. Who taught you to cook like this? It's hardly cooking, but I learned how to catch and prepare fish from my grandfather. So, you often eat like this where you lived? Yes. May I ask what that place was like? Though Yudhir wasn't eager to answer such a mundane question, he recalled Kishir's previous curiosity about him. Now, with nothing more to hide, he wanted to answer as honestly as possible if Kishir wished to know. What was it like? It was just a mountain similar to this place. No, it was taller and deeper. Though it was not long ago in terms of his physical age, the memories belonged to a place he lived in over a decade ago. Yudhir vaguely recounted his old memories of where he had lived. The small house he shared with his grandfather was a renovated place that once served as a shelter for herb gatherers and woodcutters. The nearest village was half a day's descent away, making human contact rare and making him more familiar with animals and plants. Catching fish in the streams and rivers flowing along the mountain range, gathering herbs and wild vegetables, and occasionally eating animals caught in traps were part of their daily routine. Seasonal berries and woodcutting techniques were all things he learned from his grandfather. In the depths of the forest, a young boy named Yudhir had lived alone without any issues, thanks to the skills his grandfather had taught him for surviving in such an environment. Weren't you scared living alone until you joined the cavalry? You were quite young. In commoner society, that age is sufficiently old enough to live independently. I never felt scared. Even deep in the forest, where the nights were so dark one could hardly see in front of themselves, Yudhir rarely felt fear. Whether it was strong winds pounding against the old door or encountering large wild beasts that were difficult to handle alone, he was unfazed. Since his earliest memories, he had been like this, brave and not overly sensitive to external stimuli by nature. However, sometimes he would climb to the top of the tallest tree in the forest and gaze into the distance. He would spend long periods contemplating what lay beyond the faintly visible buildings at the foot of the mountain, the plains, and the lush forests in the distance. After awakening his powers, these thoughts grew increasingly intense. Following the sun across the sky, he felt that beyond its path lay something far more grand and exciting than the mundane life in the forest. Perhaps beyond that horizon were people with abilities even more extraordinary than his. Maybe he would encounter things he had never even imagined. The idea of spending his life traveling no further than down the mountain to sell wood and returning seemed dreadfully dull. You had such thoughts? Yes. Kishir, listening to the story, wore an expression of great interest mixed with a tinge of regret. You seem a bit disappointed. I can't help but wonder how cute you must have been back then. Let me clarify. Cute is hardly a word that would have suited me. Even if he was more innocent back then, Yudhir was still Yudhir. No matter how one looked at it, he wasn't the type to be overly praised for his demeanor. No, Yudhir, you are so freaking cute, like a black cat. Kishi didn't agree, he just smiled silently in response. Yudhir decided to change the subject. Shall I finish tidying up the house now? Yes, it was nice hearing about your past. Share more stories with me later. Yudhir couldn't fathom what Kishir found so interesting about it, but if that was what he wanted. Silently, Yudhir got up and approached a pile of assorted items. Most of the things in the cabin seemed to have been left behind by herb gatherers. Tools with missing parts used for gathering herbs, pieces of torn cloth, and sacks containing dried up, withered herbs were scattered in disarray. Burning them might be best, Yudhir thought as his gaze settled on the sacks emitting a musty smell. It was then that he noticed something. His eyes casually drifted to a spot and stumbled upon a familiar shape.